sprint systems. But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Anthony Joshua trains with focused intensity, preparing meticulously for his upcoming fight with Jake Paul. Every session highlights his strength work, footwork drills, and measured confidence as he sharpens his body and mind for the challenge ahead. On the other side, Jake Paul is equally committed, working hard to prove that he can compete against a top-level professional. The build-up shows both fighters dedicating themselves, leaving fans curious about how this unusual and widely discussed matchup will unfold.
Today, one thing I knew, he was a hard worker. Second thing I knew, genetically he's very gifted, but I knew after the evaluation we had some work to do. Now I've seen his body already evolve into something totally different. I've seen his conditioning evolve into something different. And more importantly, his understanding of his body and why he's doing things the way he's doing them. That's the most important evolution.
Inside his training camp, Anthony Joshua approaches every session with full confidence. He knows he has a clear advantage over Jake Paul, yet he continues to push himself daily, determined to make a statement. His goal is straightforward: step into the ring, assert his dominance, and silence the chatter surrounding Jake Paul once and for all.
I mean, that's all that matters.
Because early on, if you look for power, you waste energy. Then that power evaporates. When they're tired, you ain't got the power to take them out. So you've got to open up in the gap for no reason. So just relax, flow.
Just pop off
Good
that
feet,
reach.
you were saying.
Just pop off that reach. And any time you move, that should be that, that should be that, yeah? And then the control's down the middle, all right?
Yeah. That's what
Control, smooth, relax, relax, relax. Last minute, mate, that'll do you then. Uppercut. Good. Right hand. Good. 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 Left hook high. Good. Uppercut high. And again.
Eddie Hearn explains that the financial offer presented to Anthony Joshua is simply too substantial to ignore, especially at this stage in his career. Joshua has already accomplished nearly everything a heavyweight can achieve, so accepting a high-paying fight is a strategic decision rather than a desperate one. Hearn emphasizes that prize fighting has always been about both legacy and earnings. When a fighter can earn a large sum for a contest that he is fully capable of handling without unnecessary risk, it becomes a practical choice. The promoter stresses that Joshua is making a smart move, not a questionable one. Turning down a massive offer that aligns with training, timing, and career goals is unrealistic for any professional. Hearn points out that Jake Paul's huge purse opened a door, and Joshua is simply stepping through it, treating boxing as both a sport and a business where such opportunities are taken seriously.
Ring by Mike Coppinger, that one's in the works and looking likely for December. What can you tell?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there has been conversations, obviously. I think it comes down to how true, they are. Jake Paul is that he actually wants to fight. I mean, he's a madman if he wants to fight. But for some reason, and he thinks he can beat AJ. And I have to be honest, we were going to have a run out in December, over 8 rounds against a bloke you've never heard of. And we may end up having a run out against Jake Paul for a career high payday. I don't see how we can turn it down.
I asked you about it a couple of days ago. You said at that time you never really got into the financials. Have those been discussed now? Have you discussed the financial element?
Yeah, there has been some conversations around that, and it is, it's a huge amount of money. And I think AJ would be mad if he didn't do it, and I think he will do it if Jake Paul is genuine. We may wake up tomorrow with these people and they've announced another fight. Honestly, anything could happen. So I still can't get my head around the fact that this guy wants to challenge AJ. Listen, respect to him if it's true, but we shall see.
To end on that note, I spoke to Alfie Sharman earlier. He said that himself or DAZN have had no conversations about AJ potentially taking that fight. Obviously, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. What's the situation with regards to that? Because I know they'd want it.
Apparently the fight's done. Obviously it's not done because those conversations have to take place. I'm very confident that I can have some positive conversations with DAZN. Obviously we'll be on a clock, but it's a 50-50.
Last one from me. I saw Chris McKenna tweeted that Anthony Joshua currently doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control licence. Obviously, it's not unusual for someone who isn't fighting currently and he's inactive to let it run out. But he'd have to apply for one to face Jake Paul again, and then they'd have to approve a fight. Do you think that'd be...
Experts note that Anthony Joshua's career already includes fights against some of the most powerful heavyweights of his generation. Even after a 14-month break from competition, they say the gap in experience between him and Jake Paul remains significant. Analysts highlight how Joshua has spent years facing champions, knockout artists, and elite athletes who have tested him in ways social media-driven fighters have not. While inactivity can affect any boxer, experts still believe Joshua's fundamentals, reach, power, and boxing IQ give him a decisive edge. They stress that his previous loss does not diminish his capability here, because the level of opposition he has faced far exceeds anything Jake Paul has encountered. Overall, the consensus is that Joshua's skills, even after a long break, are more than enough to control and dominate the fight.
Right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive, and as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really... While he was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion. We're talking about Jake Paul, guys.
Do you know what's mad? Can I just add something in before Loza jumps in? There are Americans, and I've heard them in the last 24 hours, giving Jake Paul a better chance than Francis Ngannou, saying he has the boxing experience. Francis Ngannou didn't have enough boxing experience. Because that's how Americans view this whole thing.
Well, no, Francis Ngannou did have more boxing experience than Jake Paul.
Well, yeah. But that's what they're saying is Francis Ngannou had 1 fight, Jake Paul's had 10, 12.
10 rounds, and you little say I'm licking his ass. 10 rounds of Tyson Fury, will gain you more experience than everything.
Adam Catterall strongly criticizes the decision to classify this matchup as a sanctioned fight rather than an exhibition. He argues that a full competitive contest exposes Jake Paul to unnecessary risk because Joshua's natural power far surpasses anything Paul has ever faced. Catterall explains that exhibitions allow for safer, controlled pacing, entirely different challenge compared to YouTube-level fights.
Yeah. Brutal knockout against Dubois.
Yeah.
Not the same AJ maybe of the past. He's 36. He's got a chance to earn £70 million, maybe to add to the 150 he's already got. Why wouldn't he do it? Because why would he want to maybe for 5 or 10 million fight a Fabio Wardley who's dangerous, Itoma who's dangerous? Surely from an AJ point of view, it makes sense.
Makes sense. From any fighter's point of view, it makes sense because you're in... Listen, belts don't pay your mortgage, do they? And I know he's got a lot of dough anyway, but 70 million... If someone's going to throw you 70 million quid to fight a lad that struggled and lost to Tommy Fury, you're going to take it, aren't you? Yep. So from AJ's point of view, I completely get that. From Jake Paul's point of view, you're leveraging your audience in the world of boxing and making a ton of cash fighting the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Mate, most boxing fans would bite your hand off at that opportunity, especially if you're throwing 70 million quid in the pot as well. I've no problem with the promoters. My problem is that it can't be a legitimate fight. Let's be dead honest about this, right?
Eddie Hearn said it will be.
Listen, there is no commission on the planet that can authorise that fight. It's a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, still in his athletic prime. You just said he's 36. We're not talking Mike Tyson age of 50 odd here now, are we? Olympic gold medalist. He's had 13 world title fights as AJ. 13 of them against the very best guys.
And could take his head off.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely dangerous. Like I've just said, Jake Paul struggled with Tommy Fury. The levels between these two guys are ridiculous. The commissions cannot sanction that as a legitimate fight. There has to be a rule change. It has to be an exhibition. And then you can have a little bit of a move.
Hold on, Gab. Let's go back to proper boxing. I'm with Cats here. You know, this is ridiculous.
Big story, though.
Oh, listen, it's because it's AJ, because it's Jake Paul. It's going to do numbers and capture people's eyes, right?
Many fans have been anticipating a showdown between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, a matchup teased for years. Analysts note that instead of pursuing that long-awaited clash, it comes with immediate financial rewards. While fans may feel disappointed, experts emphasize that Joshua is making the choice that makes sense for his career at this moment. Chisora adds that Joshua's power is decisive. One clean shot could end the contest quickly. Paul has never faced a punch of that magnitude, making the likely outcome clear. Analysts stress that boxing carries risks, particularly when there are large differences in size and experience.
Fight in the coming days, and now it looks very much like it's going to be Jake Paul, the controversial figure. Whatever you think about him, he makes a lot of money, huge views, sells fights, but he was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis. That is not happening, and now he's potentially facing one of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing. Whenever you mention the name Anthony Joshua, people are interested, and of course the fight people still want to see is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, and that's the dream fight which Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren and Turki Al-Sheikh are trying to make next year. But Eddie Hearn has said we need Anthony Joshua back in that ring. He's not been in the ring since losing to Daniel Dubois in devastating fashion at Wembley Stadium last year. But if he'd have said that time ago that his next fight would be Jake Paul, not a single person on this planet would believe me. But it does look like now that Anthony Joshua, the former world champion, is about to face Jake Paul in a month's time.
Mate, it's a great thing, so we can just shut that Jake Paul nonsense away. AJ's gonna knock him out.
Would it be similar, do you think, to the way AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou? Because Eddie Hearn's just said about the rage maybe AJ.
It'll be worse. It'll be worse. It'll be worse.
1 round?
1 round. But if he goes past 3 rounds, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah. If AJ goes in there trying to mess around, trying to show his boxing skills, nah. He's gonna go in there and light him out. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, is it something you'd love to see as well? I know. I mean, you've known
Listen,
AJ.
we're all gonna be tuning in to watch it. That is it. There's nothing else. December.
Tommy Fury compares his own experience against Jake Paul to the challenge Joshua faces. He explains that if he could beat Paul, then Joshua, a far stronger and more accomplished fighter, would have no difficulty at all. Fury points out that the matchup is less about skills and more about levels in the sport. He believes Paul is entering territory for which he is unprepared, and that Joshua's physical presence alone will create challenges from the first bell. Drawing on his fight with Paul, Fury observes both strengths and weaknesses, concluding that Joshua would easily handle the situation. He highlights Joshua's size, technical foundation, and power, noting that Paul has no realistic chance to compete without being overwhelmed.